here in the last section of the book, The Treasure of the Wise, there's a beautiful quote by Patrul Rinpoche, who was one of the great Tibetan teachers of the 19th century. Constantly remember this: being kind and having a good heart are the essential meditation instructions. Love, compassion, and the wish that all beings, without exception, attain the bliss of complete awakening are the root of our well-being and spiritual path. So that's really the root of everything we've been doing. The key here is understanding that having a good heart is not just having good intentions. So having a good heart within the context of our practices is the expression of what we call bodhicitta, which is the awakened mind, or the mind that desires to attain awakening, realize awakening for the benefit of all beings without exception. Okay. So having a good heart, in this case, this type of bodhicitta has two different levels. There's the level, the relative level that is called, and the absolute level. The relative level, at the first one, is the intention. Like when at the beginning of our practice we set up the motivation, that's an intention. We wish, may this happen. Okay, may all beings be well and happy, may everybody have a good life, may there be peace, okay. So the relative aspect, or the the aspiration aspect of this relative motivation then has to be matched with our actions, okay, with the actions of generosity, with the actions of our practice, how we conduct ourselves in the world, relating to others and to ourselves, especially, so that refers to the basic level of having a good heart and being kind. But there's a superior kind of kindness. Okay? There's a superior kind of kindness, which is the superior kind of kindness, which is what we call the absolute level. I don't call it like the great teachers that Buddha calls. Okay, I'm just paraphrasing the Buddha, or parroting the Buddha. Okay. So that's a type of kindness that naturally is born in our heart as we can understand more and more and more what is the nature of what is it that we are perceiving, what is the nature of our being, what is the nature of this book, what is the nature of the homeless person, what is the nature of the patient that comes to see me, what is the nature of my students, Andy, or what is the nature of anything you're doing. Okay, so that superior kind of kindness of good heart, it is not superior because it's better. When somebody needs a hug or needs a sandwich, don't talk about philosophy, because it's not gonna, they want a sandwich. Okay, he's hungry, or he has a toothache, or whatever. She just lost somebody, But this kind of good heart, this kind of kindness is superior because it's more encompassing. It's more all-encompassing. Okay. So you can give a very loving heart, and still your heart, give a very loving heart, hug, and your hug still be a hug of pity. Yeah. Okay. Or, you get my point here. But once through the practices, there's some very special practices here that are time tested by thousands of yogis and yoginis. Infinite number of yogis and yoginis. There's the practices of resting in the narrow gates, the body of space. The healing smile, especially the fourth part, the uniting the smiles. Okay, and then the listening to the sound of our breath, the centering and purifying breathing when we rest in the center, or the 5 elements when we rest in the center. That's not just resting what we're doing. What we're doing there is we are knocking at the door of that special kind of kindness, okay? Which is the kindness of our teachers, the kindness of the lamas, the kindness of the Buddha, and the kindness of Jesus, if you want. which is the ability to point to the essence of things. We can learn infinite number of things in the world. We can do, we can learn anything. I mean, there's infinite number of things to learn. Yet, even if you learned all the possible things, even if you were an incredible musician, incredible doctor, incredible writer, incredible chef, incredible lover, and all the incredible things that can be done, that would still be partial knowledge, until you realize the nature of your mind, the nature of your being. So this is the difference, and this is the insistence in these practices. Like, we build up the whole thing, and we benefit our physical body, we soothe our emotions, we do everything that needs to be done through a practice, and then we just let it dissolve into this state where the mind is just in a state of openness. Okay. Obviously, at the beginning, for that, the mind rests in the self-luminous jewel, but this was explained here in the Healing Smile. In page 120, that kind of superior kindness, that kind of superior good heart, it's the experience of the light of lights. Okay, so this is why this thing here is so precious. I encourage you here in page 120 to memorize this. This boundless awareness. Let me put my reading glasses, because my boundless awareness is this boundless awareness that is you, the universe, and resides in your heart, needs no other light to illuminate itself. It is self-luminous, it is pure, it is the one light, the light of lights. All material objects, such as houses, rivers, and forests, are illumined by the sun. And this is the key here. But the light that illumines the sun is the light of your heart. Here in this case, heart means mind. It's not the mind, it's not the heart of the chest. It's not the mind that is chatting, parroting in the center of the head, like you're hearing thoughts. It's actually your consciousness. The light that illumines the sun is your consciousness. I really encourage you to take these very these verses, but especially this sentence. Observe anything, anytime, anything that's going on, it is perceived through your consciousness. Like, this example is perfect because all the lights, I mean, we see if there's no light, there's darkness. But even when there's darkness, your consciousness is perceiving the darkness. Do you get that? That consciousness that is perceiving the darkness, when it can be aware of itself and rest of itself, that's the mind of the Buddha. That's the sacred heart of Jesus. And that's really the treasure of the wise. And that's the thing that now I'm pointing out, I'm just mentioning here with a few words. And intellectually, I'm sure it makes sense because you're all very smart and we've been talking about this for a long time. But that's the realization that once you know that, once you experience that, you have the essence of the 10,000 things that you could be doing. And then you can do anything, Okay. The light that illumines the sun is your consciousness. It's the light of your heart. So constantly remember this, being kind and having a good heart. So in this case, having a good heart is living with the awareness that it is your consciousness, it is your sense of I-ness that is the treasure of the wise. And therefore, if somebody needs a hug and you give a hug, it's consciousness giving a hug. And if you're making a sandwich for somebody because they're hungry, it's consciousness making a sandwich of consciousness itself, giving it to consciousness itself. Yeah? Love, compassion, and the wish that all beings without exception attain the bliss of complete awakening are the root of our well-being and spiritual path. Here in page 213, the last paragraph, it says the same thing in a different way. The essence of it all is to live in a state of wakeful, loving, and joyful presence whenever and wherever we are. This essence is the seed of all happiness, the treasure in the heart of the wise. And really, there's not much more to say, so there's the final thing that I would like to just say to close this cycle of teachings is to go over the example of daily practice. I know, all of you have some sort of practice already, and that's fantastic. So if you need a bit more guidance or a bit more reassurance, or, I would like just to share this. The main thing is to use what we call the 3 excellence practice, which is at the beginning to start with a pure motivation, which is not just for us, but for others. Then as we do the practice, to do the practice with this idea that it's just consciousness itself doing the practice. And then, or if that's, still like far-fetched because, or it's not in the mind, at least we do the practice with full focus. When we're doing the practice, just focus in the practice, And then at the end, the excellence at the end is to realize that we have done something precious through our practice, and just to dedicate that, so all sentient beings can also connect with their own nature. So the way I personally like to practice is when I wake up in the morning, and this I encourage everybody to do it. You're still in bed. I know I've mentioned this a few times, but I'll review. You're in bed, in whatever position you are, whatever is going on. And as soon as you realize, oh, I'm awake, so you just rest your attention and your awareness. Okay, so there's a wakefulness, and then there's an awareness. Oh, I'm awake. Okay. Oh, I'm awake. So you just rest with that sensation, and just keep the mind free. Don't send the mind to the things of the day, or I'm gonna prepare coffee. Just like let the mind rest, and then just naturally, as the body wants to become solid, because you have to start doing things. So bring the attention, and this all happens in seconds. Just bring the attention to the breath, and just feel the breath coming in and out of the body, the physical body. And you think to yourself, wow, today is a beautiful day. It's another precious day to experience this wakeful, mindful, loving joyfulness. And that's very beautiful. And then I suggest here that everybody gets used to doing the healing smile. So you're laying down there, if you want to lay on your back, is okay, but you can do it in any position. You basically just visualize the sun above your head, and it just radiates light around you, around your room, around your house, around your partner and your dog, and whatever. And then just shines on you, and you just soften the body for any tension from the night, and then just fill up the body with this beautiful glowing light. And then if you want, you activate a motivation for the day, or if you have any important things to do today, or anything that requires a bit extra, anything that you're going to do, you can also shine the light there. if you have a specific teacher, or who is your spiritual teacher, you can visualize them in your heart too, at this point. And so you have guidance during the day. But this is something that happens naturally, within a couple of minutes as you are ready to get up. And then ideally, before breakfast, if you have the time, or as soon as you get up, whatever, go to the restroom, do whatever. And it's good to have a practice that follows what we had just done earlier. So you have the preliminaries with the motivation, you have the centering and purifying breathing. You can do the 5-element mantra, and then you take a main practice. Okay. So now we've been meeting every other week, and we've been changing a practice every other week. Any of these practices pretty much is something that you can spend months doing. Okay. They build up on each other, so you can just select one, or that you feel more drawn to, or you can just go back to the beginning of the book and just take your time, and with everything that you know now, because we have you already knew many things, but anything else that you know now, so you go back to the first practice, and then you just start doing your practice. And it's really a matter of quality time. So I will not, if you have the inclination, you can set up longer practices, but if not, 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then you just try to build up. Ideally, you try to build up to 30 minutes sitting, but it's based on your time. Okay. I suggest that you take a practice and maybe do it for a month, and really take your time. All these are complete practices, so take your time, observing the breath, listening to the sound of the breath. The thing that it's not here that I encourage you to do also is, like, regardless of the practice that you're doing, at the end, always come to this self-luminous jewel that is behind the navel, and then just rest in openness for a minute or two. And get used to resting in openness with eyes open. Okay, at the beginning, you can connect with yourself and your eyes are closed. But the point of this is, like, when you do your practice, then you open your eyes, or you can do your practice with your eyes open. And it's not to, I have an inner world and there's an outer world. No, it's to realize that actually the outer world is also inner, because it's an expression of consciousness. In the same way, a jar, or like a vase or something that you can be making with clay. Yeah, you could say there was clay outside, but clay, it's just water and dirt and whatever minerals are there. I don't know exactly what is there, but I guess depending on the type of clay. But it's actually just a manifestation of the 5 elements that has been shaped through more elements, because the fire and then the consciousness of the potter. So everything we experience, it is said, that is an inner experience. So this is something that I will also encourage you to explore. And then at the end, you do the dedication and then do some dry bath self-massage. And then at night, at night I usually try to do a shorter practice, because just that's how the day goes. But what I find very useful is, and this practice I usually, evening practice is like already when I'm in bed. I'm sitting in my bed. My bed is very hard, so I just fold a pillow there, and it doesn't sink. It's like being on the floor pretty much. And so you connect with the motivation in a second. And this is very important, because you're preparing yourself to go to bed, to cross dimensions. So it's a preparation to awaken in dreams, and it's a preparation to awaken within deep sleep, and it's a preparation for transcendence, for death, okay, to awaken in the bardos. And so what I find very useful is, like, I do a soft self-massage, like dry bath. It takes me a couple minutes, and then either sitting or laying down, I do just one of the healing sounds, very soft, and I bring the attention to the navel then. And the dedication of my practice in this case, at the end, I just think, may all beings be happy. And then if I'm ready to fall asleep, I pray to my teachers, or I just pray to the 5 elements, or, may I have dreams, and may I, within the dreams, may I realize that I'm dreaming. Okay, when I'm in deep sleep, may I realize that I'm in deep sleep. So that's the preparation. That's the subtle command that you do before. It's like a part of the practice of dream yoga, but that's very, very important. When I'm dreaming, may I realize that I'm dreaming. And then once you wake up, if you wake up in a dream, then you can start doing your practice again, or you can do pottery in the dream, or you can practice your Zumba classes in the dream. Okay? It's a matter of maintaining consciousness there. So we're training to cross dimensions with love in our heart. This is really what we're doing, with a sense of well-being and love in our heart. And then something that I encourage everybody is to, if you're not doing yet, is to develop a routine, almost like getting in the habit of doing personal retreats. Personal retreat is tough, okay? It's not like some people come and say, oh, I want to Bali to a yoga retreat. That's a retreat. That's not the kind of retreat we're talking here, okay? That's wonderful. You go to Bali and, you do a couple of hours of yoga, and then you have some juices here, and then they give you a massage, and that's fantastic. Sounds wonderful. Here, the kind of retreat we're talking about is actually serious yogini retreat, where you wake up early, okay, and your focus is on practice. There's no socializing. There's no, you minimize or eliminate all external media and TV and all these things. And so you get up early, a relatively early time, and then you do your wake up practice. And then here I suggest sessions of 1 hour, 15 minutes. Usually when we sit on retreat, the sessions might be longer, it might be 2 hours, 3 hours, but you don't have to kill yourself. The point is to renew yourself. So the same thing that you would do in a morning session, for example, here, where you do the preliminaries, the main practice, the dedication, the self-massage. So you repeat that, 3, 4, 5 times in a day. Okay. And that makes a fantastic retreat. You don't need to go anywhere. You do it in your house, so you do a session, and then you take a little break to prepare your meal, whatever. When you are doing a personal retreat, it's essential that you include some physical exercise. So you go for walks, and then do some stretching, do some yoga, do some qigong, whatever. But personal retreats, starting with a retreat of 1 day, even getting in the habit of doing a monthly 1-day retreat is like a true treasure, because the daily practice gives us, it helps us be good on the day to day, and kind of increases our understanding little by little. But it's through stabilizing. Like if you had one good practice today, and maybe tomorrow you do again, and the next, or you skip a day, whatever, it's kind of coming and going. But you have a stable practice now. Take a break, in 1 hour do another one. Take a break, in 1 hour so you can see how that builds up. Okay, so what took us now 45 minutes to go through the healing sounds, once the organs are already smiling, you don't need to go through the whole process every time, so you are entering into the process, and immediately the mind is getting settled. So do personal retreat, and you'll be so grateful, and many of you have the time, okay, and you have a house that it's not like you're living in an apartment in New York. So you can do the retreat, and then from a day retreat you can build up, obviously, to if you've done longer retreat, you can do longer, obviously, but for people who are starting, it's better just to do 1 day, or then do a weekend, and then 3-4 days a week. That's incredible. So if you can do that, that would be wonderful. Okay. Retreat is tough. Retreat is tough because if you say, I'm going to do a 1 week retreat, or a 10-day retreat, or a 5-day retreat, in the first session that you have, wow, this is what I'm going to be doing for the next 5 days. So retreat is not yoga retreat. Oh, now give me a massage. No, retreat is like, now I'm going to be sitting again, and I'm going to be focusing again. But that's the value of retreat is incredible. So if there's any questions about how to do any of these things, you can always contact me. And if somebody of the group that we practice at some point decided that they want to do a retreat, one day it's not needed, but if somebody wanted to do a 3-day retreat, a 5-day retreat, I think it'd be wonderful if they can share that with some of us, and we can bring meals and be open to support in any way. It's very important to support practitioners. Okay, so whomever wants to do a longer retreat, we should support them. So if any of you, Didi, sorry, we can ship you something, but I won't be able to bring you breakfast. But this thing with COVID will go away, and we'll be able to get together and go somewhere and rent a house and just practice for a few days together, and that will happen. So it really, these teachings are really the treasure of the wise. And it's so nice I can say that, because it's not that I make this up. I said it in the past. I just compile these things through teachings that I received, and here at the beginning I listed most of the teachers from whom I received teaching. So this, I just put the time to type it down. But this is really special. So if you can take the time, as you are doing, but even more, to incorporate this and to make this like really the focus of your life, then your life totally transforms. So for those of you who are practicing already, it's fantastic. For those of you who are kind of on the fence, give it a try, And for those of you who want to practice deeper, we should support each other. So anybody who has who builds up to a retreat of 5 days, a week, even 3 days. So we should support each other. Anyway, that's the story, and it's fantastic we got to cover this whole thing. So just let's take another moment to really appreciate all our meetings and our immense fortune, of living in a country like we live, where we have freedom to, regardless, all the issues that, but we have the resources. We have even the resources of having a book printed. It's like, yeah, there's so many things that can be done better, but it is a beautiful place. So we really, from our hearts, we should really relish this incredible opportunity that, having been born in a country like this, with all these exquisite opportunities to practice the Dharma, it's really precious. We have tremendous good karma. In many lifetimes previously, we have accrued incredible virtue to be able to be talking about this right now. So we should take advantage of it, not tomorrow, but today. This is really the best way to honor our parents, to honor our teachers, to honor, just the divine, to realize the essence of who we are. So again, all the virtue from, all the goodness that we have generated since September with these meetings, we dedicate to the general awakening and healing of all beings throughout all time and space. And, gratitude to all the people who have made this possible, and to all the, all our protectors and all the guardians who protect us and guard us in a good way. And to the infinite number of practitioners who have transmitted all these teachings from a time without beginning. we also express our gratitude, and we ask for more support. So I, at least myself, within all my clumsy efforts to put these things into practice, with all the humbleness I can, I request the support that I might keep growing through these practices. So if you feel clumsy in any way, you can do the same thing. And again, may the sublime awakened mind, the mind of bodhicitta, arise where it has not arisen. Where it has arisen, may never decrease, but continue to increase forevermore. Wonderful. So, thank you.